Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So in today's video, we have the iPad 7 generation. So this is the entry-level base budget iPad you can buy at Apple right now for 329 US dollars. So today I'm going to review it. So let's begin. So a brief specs refresh. The iPad Pro 7 generation has got a 10.2-inch display, the Apple A10 Fusion chip. It's got an 8 megapixel rear camera with maximum at 1080p and a front 1.2 megapixel camera. Now the iPad 7 in overall build quality I have to say is an A plus. Since it is an iPad, build quality is amazing. It feels really nice in hand, no issues whatsoever. Now, as you can see, this iPad is slightly thicker. It's got the iPad Air first generation design. It's not going to be the super slim design you see on the newer version of the iPads. As you can see here, this is the iPad Pro 10.5 inch, which is again super slim compared to this one. But again, I would prefer this mostly compared to the newer iPad, since this is much more durable. It's not going to bend in your backpacks or anything like that. Now moving on, the display is, as I said, 10.2 inches and it gets quite bright, approximately about 500 nits. And the viewing angles of the display are quite good, quite decent given the price point of this device. Now you do not get ProMotion, you do not get any of the fancy features, no True Tone or anything like that. However, the one new change we have this year is that the display and the glass are kind of fused together. So as you can see, there is no air gap between the display and the glass. So overall, the content is right at your fingertips. It makes for a much more better viewing experience using this display. However, the downside of this design is that if you crack the display on the iPad, you will have to shell out a slight bit more in order to replace the display as well as the glass panel. Now moving ahead, one of the biggest pros I see on this iPad is that the support for the Apple Smart Keyboard. Now this is the same keyboard I use on my iPad Pro. However, I wouldn't recommend picking this one up because this one is really not ergonomic. It doesn't feel really comfortable to type on it for long periods of time. It's already in backlit and it's really not worth the price Apple charges for it. I'd really recommend you guys to have a look at the keyboards that are offered by Logitech and a few other brands. They're doing some fantastic work with their keyboards and they do offer them in backlit versions as well. So do have a look at those online. Another big pro is the support for the Apple Pencil first generation. So you cannot use the second generation, it's just the first. And it works as smoothly as it does on the iPad Pro as well. Apple hasn't skimped out on anything at all. With iPadOS, Apple was able to increase the latency of the Apple Pencil. And as you can see, literally no lag whatsoever, no matter what you're doing. There's literally no lag using the Apple Pencil. Now, it's not going to be as smooth as the iPad Pros as usual. However, you're really not losing a lot using the Apple Pencil on this, and it works flawlessly without any issues whatsoever. So that, in my opinion, is again a big plus. And you do get all of the big apps that do support the Pros, that do support the Pencil right on this iPad as well. So no issues right there. Another big pro is iPadOS and the Apple A10 Fusion on this. Now the processor, the Apple A10 Fusion, is a few years old. It comes from the iPhone 7, but as you can see, it's completely able to support all of the latest versions, all of the latest features of iPadOS. So you're not going to lose anything while you are multitasking. You do get all of the bells and whistles of iPadOS in everything you're doing. As you can see, all of the features do work, and this iPad is mainly used for a lot of gaming and media consumption, and the person who does use this iPad really hasn't complained to me regarding gaming or multimedia. So really no issues. The processor is really capable. You will have to wait a few seconds here and there. It's not going to be super fast as the iPad Pros obviously, but it's really a decent performer given the price point of this iPad. Now moving to the con section, the only few things that I didn't like about this is firstly ProMotion. Now guys, I do make a bit of a big issue when it comes to ProMotion because I have personally using the iPad Pro every single day, and ProMotion on that is absolutely amazing. Those of you who have used ProMotion, when you use this iPad 7 generation, you're really going to notice and see that it kind of feels a bit laggy. It kind of feels like a downgrade. It kind of feels a bit sluggish. However, it's really not lagging. That's the way the 60 hertz display works, and it's just that you've been used to 120 hertz refresh. But those of you who haven't experienced ProMotion, this is just gonna be like your regular iPad. No issues whatsoever. Everything's gonna work super smooth as you perceive it. Now, another big issue I had with this iPad is battery life. Now, battery life, Apple does say 10 hours, but that's a bit hard for us to come by. As you can see, the past 10 days, it's been approximately about 3 hours, and it's been heavily used with PUBG, Prime Video, and Call of Duty. So overall, as I said, battery life, if you're really going to push this iPad very hard with those high graphic games, you're really going to struggle to get those good hours of battery life. However, if you're just using the iPad for basic tasks like maybe a few emails here and there, a few videos, a bit of music, you can easily get through the day, in my opinion. But other than that, I really don't have a lot to complain on this. Another thing that you would be losing when you pick up the iPad 7 is two speakers on the left. The iPad 7 only offers two downward facing speakers. However, trust me guys, those four speakers on either side do make quite a bit of difference. But moving to the conclusion of the entire thing, I have to say that for $329, the iPad 7 is a fantastic budget option. It's true value for money. For just $329, you are getting a brand new 10.2 inch display. You are getting Apple Pencil support. You are getting support for the smart keyboard. And overall, it's a fantastic iPad. You will still be getting support for iOS for another few years, because Apple is going to drop support since it just released this iPad this year. So you really don't have to worry about things like that. Now, many of you do ask me whether it's worth picking out the iPad 7 or the iPad Pro 10.5 inch, since the iPad Pro 10.5 is right now sitting at a very attractive price point, and it also does support ProMotion. It does give you 4 quad speakers. It does again offer you the same processor that is available on the iPad 7. So that is a really nice tempting option right now in late 2019. So stick around. I will be putting up a comparison video with the 10.5 and the 10.2 inch iPad. But overall, this iPad is for those of you who are maybe students who are just getting into school, or those of you who just want a basic budget in an iPad, who are not spec hungry, who just want an iPad that looks good, feels good, performs well, and gets your work done day to day. And that is the iPad 7. I'm sure you're really not going to be disappointed on this device. And it is truly a fantastic value for money device. So that's it guys. If you did like the video, hit that like button and that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one.